Hello and welcome back to the Nexus Gaming Series. I am the Crushinator and I will be your host for tonight's Division A West playoff matchup between the number 2 seed Fancy Flightless Fowl and the number 3 seed Minion Miners. Maybe noticing we're starting up a little bit late. We were hoping that one of our players' internet would come on back, but doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So they're going to go ahead with a sub. So, let's check out our teams. Head over to the tail of the tape. Let you know about tonight's matchup. Fancy Flightless Fowl coming into tonight at 8-4 on the match record, 16-10 on the maps. Best maps for them so far. They are 3-3 on Alterac Pass, 3-1 on Infernal Shrines. Most played heroes for them, they are currently 7-2 on Tassadar, 5-4 on Stukov, 7-1 on Greymane. Strong assassins there. Over on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl, Minion Miners coming into tonight also 8-4, 17-11 on the map record, though they do come in as the 3rd seed because they were tied on points. And Fancy Flightless Fowl had the last matchup won. Most played maps here for the Minion Miners, 4-3 on Infernal Shrines, 3-3 on Volskaya Foundry. Most played heroes, 7-7 on Lucio. That's a lot of Lucio. 9-3 on Li Ming and 7-3 on Lunara. Looks like our draft is almost up and ready to go. Let's jump on over to the map screen. Let you know about the state of tonight's series. Fancy Flightless Fowl choosing to ban away Cursed Hollow and Volskaya Foundry. It was Minion Miners who banned away Braxis Holdout and Battlefield of Eternity. And it will be Minion Miners that take us to Alterac Pass for game number 1. Interesting choice there. Alterac Pass, the most played map over on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Well, they are only 50% on it, so it's not like it's an overwhelming thing. Draft up and ready to go. Let's jump on in and get this game 1 underway. It will be Fancy Flightless Fowl that are first to act here. Quick ban on the Gazlo. Is absolutely still a terror in the off lane. Very impactful team fight rotating on down on that Gazlo. Interested to see whether Minion Miners will counter with the Diva ban, or if they've got something else in mind here for Alterac Pass. You've still got to consider the high-level assassins, your Chromies, your Cassias. Definitely something to note. Gonna stick with the Stukov ban. One of the favorites in this division and of these teams overall. Just a huge playmaking support there. Continuing to choke the offlane here is Fancy Flightless Fowl, taking out the Rexar. And it will be a Gall ban coming out from Minion Miners, trying to reduce the possible cheesery that could come in their direction. Fancy Flightless Fowl, gonna first pick that Chromie, Gingimex, taking the Sand Dragon. For some reason, sound is going to the wrong place. Let's open that up. Alright. We'll fix that after. Marshall gonna grab the Ragnaros Wesgra on the Lucio here. Favored support, or healer I guess I should call them now, for Minion Miners. Ragnaros, an interesting pick here for Marshall. Usually when you see Ragnaros come on through, it means you're trying to delay the game. You're trying to get level 20. Ragnaros very, very good at de-pushing lanes, assuming that it is a Lava Wave pick. It may not necessarily be. Ana coming in for Zombie, and it is Leoric for Blood Ravens. Even without the Lava Wave Heroic, even if you go Sulfurous Smash, Ragnaros still very good at de-pushing lanes. Zombie. Not on my map. What happened to other? There we go. Zombie on the Ana. Next ban coming on out here for Minion Miners. We've got the off lane locked in. A lot of off lane bans. Gonna ban away the Diablo here, as Fancy Flightless Fowls still need a tank. Definitely a strong one alongside Chromie. Sparhawk in the chat. Hope you had a good cast today, buddy. As we see Lunara banned away by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Interesting. Lunara does sort of have a high step to get around the Chromie to try to dodge those Ana darts. And the spell shield that can come on out from the Lunara does make sense there. Cermak of Cheese going to grab the Sylvanas Himibo on the ETC here. It's a pretty strong siege between the Sylvanas Rag and ETC over on the side of Minion Miners. Interested to see how they round out this draft. We have been seeing some extra heavy front lines sort of in the meta recently. I'd be interested to see like a Sonya coming out from Murderin. Batman gonna grab the Phoenix here, and Gingy Boy will be on the May. A lot of slows over here on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl, trying to slow down this Lucio, trying to slow down an already very immobile Ragnaros. It's going to be Falstad here for Murderin. So not the heavy front line, but still going for the global presence, the boss control, the lane pressure that comes from the Falstad. Alrighty. Game number 1 about to be underway here. Fancy Flightless Fowl versus Minion Miners, trying to go up early in this best of 3 playoff series. Here we go. Alrighty, loading on in here. On the left in the blue, it is Fancy Flightless Fowl with Batman on the Phoenix, Zombie playing Ana, Blood Ravens playing the Leoric, Gingy Boy on the May, Gingy Mex on the Chromie. On the right in the red, it is the Minion Miners, Murderin on the Falstad, Himibo playing ETC, Wesgra on the Lucio, Cermak of Cheese on the Sylvanas, and it is Marshall on the Ragnaros. Here we go. Game number 1 is underway here. We'll see how these two teams clash. Lucio stacking up that level 1, the party mix. Trying to get that stacked as quickly as possible here. As Chromie Siege already right off the bat. Ragnaros going straight to the top lane. It's a B-step festival between our two teams. Look at this. Such sportsmanship. Such sportsmanship. Well done from our two squads. Looks like Chromie will lead the way on the wave clear here for Fancy Flightless Fowl before starting up their rotation. Minion Miners choosing to commit to the top and bottom lanes early. Try to push that extra XP, but we see Leoric up in the top lane. Phoenix going to be up against this Falstad in the bottom lane. We see Cermak of Cheese and Wesgar. They want to start this camp right away at the 1 minute mark here. If you can get this camp taken quickly, that means you can get it a second time before the first objective of the game becomes critical. That also means that Fancy Flightless Fowl, they have the opportunity to push into this mid wall if they want. Instead, they're going to go ahead and back up to their camp. Thinking about it, it's actually going to be Phoenix that comes over to try to help this out, and May moving on down to the bottom lane. So Fancy Flightless Fowl a little bit behind on this camp taking, though these minions are extremely healthy, as we see it took over 30 seconds for Minion Miners to go ahead and take that. Looks like the camp clear a little bit faster on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl for the meantime, because they started that camp significantly later, only capped it 10 seconds later. Alterac pass early going, usually not too much to report. The team's just working on their macro. They want to grab their camp one time, push with it just a little bit. Cermak of Cheese getting the warp on out before the stun is going to land. We're going to see our teams probably grab the camp a second time, find level 7s, and then finally get on the objective. Oh, Leoric actually taken down in the top lane. Nice job by Marshall on the 1v1 there. We don't see a lot of 1v1 kills in the solo lane these days, so very nicely done coming out here from Minion Miners. Looks like we got a rotation from Batman. Himibo actually going to get stunned out as Phoenix chasing out the Sylvanas. Himibo finds the slide, but Batman... Oh! The Dragon's Breath will not land. The members of Minion Miners manage to back on out. See Marshall pushing into Leoric here, checking in on the XP. Now with a minion lead, with Leoric down in the top lane, a little bit of minion soak behind here is Fancy Flightless Fowl. So that means minion miners will have an opportunity to find their level 7 first, as this bottom objective is now up and active. Right on time with the camp here is Sir Mac of Cheese and Wesgra. Big rotation up to the top lane. Marshall trying to get away here. Gingy Boy trying to bump back. Oh, a great medallion coming on out from Rag. But is it going to be enough? Oh, Chromie guessing one way with the Dragon's Breath. Rag choosing the other, and that's going to be survival and a back for Marshall. So the team's just looking to soak their level 7s. Batman on top of this camp as well. Zombie going to come out and help. Level 7 has arrived here for minion miners. Can they do something with this? Can they get onto this point before Fancy Flightless Fowl come in for the defense? Looks like they will not get the engage that they're looking for. Sylvanas heading on back to base. Rag starting to come on down, but it is 7-7. Camps have been taken, so we are going to start seeing a prioritization onto the objective just as soon as they're able. Falstad trying to get away from Gingy Boy and Batman there. One more auto. Oh, the vision just not there for Phoenix. Here comes Sylvanas and Lucio to try to get the counter. Gingy Boy, look at the placement of that Blizzard. Very nicely done by May to secure the escape. Right now, just not concerned with the objective just yet. Looks like we've got a heavy rotation. Uh-oh, Sir Mac and Cheese could be in trouble here. Batman has to warp on out because that was a lot of damage coming from the edges. Gingy Boy trying to slow down the retreat of minion miners. As Hemibo just clearing away that mid-lane camp. And our first enemy camp capture has been claimed here by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Very nicely done. Gingy Mex could be in some trouble here. Sir Mac of Cheese and Murder and moving across. Chromie not respecting the slow zone. And that's going to be a second kill. Going over to the miners. Make that 3 as Anna caught as well. Gingy Boy just trying to hold for the last couple seconds here. Gets the icing. Everyone just tapping. Batman getting the splash autos. 0.4, 0.1, and it's going to be enough. May sacrifices themselves. Batman may be in trouble as well. As Marshall coming on down. That's going to be it for Phoenix. So just stacking up the kills are the minion miners here, but they are going to be on the defense. Gingy Boy claims this camp. But was it worth? It's always worth. What are you talking about? Always, always worth. Speaking of worth, it is level 10s available here for minion miners. It was Lava Wave, ultimately chosen here by Rag. We've got the Stage Dive, Hinterland Blast, Sound Barrier, and Mind Control. Interesting set of heroic options to work on this very large map coming out here from minion miners. So that is a second global presence in the ETC. That is a pseudo-global, kind of global. I call Lava Wave a global. I mean, you don't move there yourself, but you are present in a place where you are not normally set up. As we see Fancy Flightless Fowl moving in. Hemibo in some trouble here, pushed back by Gingy Boy. Batman is on the chase, and that is going to be it for ETC. Blue team steals one down here in the bottom lane. Looking at a very early boss as level 10s have arrived. For Fancy Flightless Fowl, looking at the Purification Salvo, Avalanche, Entomb, Nano Boost, and Slowing Sand, so some good control. And there is no Gust for Falstad, it's just going to be pure damage. Leo and Ragnaros not going to be able to join here. Nice stoppage onto Sylvanas. There's ETC coming on in. Slide is good. Mind Control went out, but that's going to be Phoenix going down here. Look at Blood Ravens catching 3 there. Falstad going to be pushed into tower range. Murderin going down. Sir Mac of Cheese trying to stop this boss from leashing. Looking at a 4v4 here as Ragnaros joining the mix. Boss still wailing away on the members of Minion Miners. Wesgra has to get out of that stun, and there they go. The boss is going to be back to full health here. So trading out some kills. Looks like a successful boss defense overall for the Minion Miners. Marshall having to get away here from Blood Ravens and Batman. Left side camp is up and available here for Fancy Flightless Fowl. Another 20 seconds on the right side camp for Minion Miners. So once again, that experience advantage gained in the early game is about to come back into play. About to find the level 13 here are Minion Miners. So left side camp is being picked up. We haven't really seen a full-blown team fight. There was a, the one down there in the bottom, that was mostly a scuffle. They're, moving around the side lane, moving around, trying to keep the boss from leashing. There's a little bit of a fight there, but not the heavy ult coordination that I'm expecting from the first big team fight of the game. As Minion Miners with the level 13 advantage, can they capitalize on this? Murderin going right after Phoenix here. But Gingy Boy on the outside, Falstad manages to avoid the slow into the stun. As we see Sir Mac of Cheese picking up yet another camp here. If we look at the mercenary count, it's going to be very tough for Fancy Flightless Fowl to get back even with that mercenary experience. Marshall clearing that top lane. ETC doing some split soaking, knowing that the stage dive is available. That's going to put Minion Miners at an even bigger XP advantage as we move into the late game here. Very nice use of globals coming out from Minion Miners. That means that, Leoric down once again. Marshall cannot be contained in the top lane, and that means, Murderin gonna come in and start the siege. A nice little play here. I love this from Minion Miners. They know they've got the opportunity to retreat to the objective. They're trying to get as much damage out as they can, though they may have been caught here by Chromie. Mind Control is going to stop Gingy Boy for the meantime. Only Marshall is caught by the Avalanche. Here comes ETC, trying to get the body blocks out onto Gingy Boy, who manages to slip away. Hinterland Blast going to a 1-minute cooldown. Teams are at full strength. Batman moving up very, very aggressively. Phoenix manages to warp out just in time. Ragnaros in a lot of trouble. That's Falstad and Rag going down there to the combo of Chromie and Phoenix. Fancy Flightless Fowl find a way back here despite being down a level. Looks like we're going to have Sylvanas and ETC split push down here in the bottom lane. Try to get some extra value. Lucio going to come on in and help as well, deciding to give up this objective without their two main DPS. Can Fancy Flightless Fowl find the counter push in the top lane? This one we will have to see. Well, I've got the opportunity. Ice X, thank you very much for the follow. Hope you're enjoying the show. Bottom fort did go down here. Top fort will fall. So a bit of a fort trade out, but it is going to be objective once again, going over to Fancy Flightless Fowl. They are behind level 16 talents, so they've got to be careful they don't get jumped on here. But with these riders, with the movement speed that comes out and the extra damage, I feel like they're getting at least mid-fort, if not bottom fort as well. We see Leoric rotating on down there. Ragnaros going to become a building here in the mid. ETC actually lands the slow, but will be denied the slide onto Gingy Boy. Here comes the objective. Sir Mac of Cheese just barely not connecting on that mind control. That's going to allow Fancy Flightless Fowl to keep setting up here in the mid. Leoric pushing down the bot. It looks like the focus will be down here in the bottom lane. Rag will not be able to defend this. No lava wave for 12 seconds. ETC not going to be able to jump down. Has to walk. Hey, coming around the outside once again here. Throws out the icing just to try to move back the members of Minion Miners and will do so successfully. As Rag has the lava wave in the bottom lane. Again, just incredible D-pushing power. Is going to force Fancy Flightless Fowl to move on back. They are now up one structure. They're up 5-4. So that's going to help in the passive XP gained on the road to level 20. Looks like Murderin going to grab the Dole Camp once again here for Minion Miners. Fancy Flightless Fowl doing the same. Bringing the whole crew this time. Make sure that camp is taken as quickly as possible. Checking the boss here are the Minion Miners. I don't think they intend to start it. They were just making sure that Fancy Flightless Fowl wasn't doing anything crazy. Nice escape there from Murderin, heading to the top lane. Marshall be in a little bit of trouble here. They want this kill onto May. ETC diving into the back line. Marshall. Oh, what a sound barrier coming out from Lucio. 3 members of Minion Miners actually going to be pushed into the back. There's the purification salvo. Gingy Boy trying to get away here from Lucio. That's 2 kills onto Rag and ETC. As Lucio with that speed boost, no one's catching that skating DJ. Fancy Flightless Fowl. Despite being down experience, despite losing a little bit of the macro game in the early going, have shown a lot of promise in these team fights. They're going to grab this top boss, while Sylvanas and Falstad push down in the bottom lane. This is just expert stuff coming on out here from Minion Miners, getting as much value as they can. They know that Fancy Flightless Fowl is on that boss, and rather than just sitting and waiting, they get something done on the map. I love that play. Boss just going to passively push in the top lane. We see Fancy Flightless Fowl possibly setting up for a double boss play. We see Falstad having to back. Marshall and Hemibo are starting the defense, and it looks like it will be double boss. Uncontested here for Fancy Flightless Fowl as the prisoner camps are starting to come up. This is the snowball that you can tend to see here on Alterac Pass. You get these bosses running, you get the objective while the team is dealing with your double boss play. You're going to see Knowles taken in the mid here by Gingy Mex and Zombie Zombie. That's just going to be so much pressure that Minion Miners are going to have to deal with. Moving on down to prepare for the boss defense as the Knoll Camp picked up on the left-hand side. Right side Knoll Camp was picked up on the way there for Minion Miners. As they move on down to the bottom lane, you're going to see Blood Ravens tapping the objective. 50 seconds on the clock here. Can Minion Miners get the clear and contest this? Very even on the path to level 20. You see Hemibo just pushing in that top lane, just trying to get as much experience as possible, make as much use of that global heroic as possible. As we see the bosses are cleared, the mid lane is going to be next. Still 25 seconds on the objective. Minion Miners can absolutely put up a defense here, but they're going to have to move in now. Here comes the crew. Gingy Boy warding away the 3 members on that side. Falstad ready to come on in. ETC waiting for their moment. 10 seconds on this objective. Are they just going to give this up? They've got their level 20s, but they don't have enough time to get in here, as Gingy Boy just buying enough time for Fancy Flightless Fowl to pick up yet another objective here. Let's see what they can do with it. Bottom and mid caught up. Top, a little bit of a problem. We're going to see Leoric D push there. Hemibo keeping an eye on things, just staying off the map here. Uh-oh, there's the stage dive. What a teleport coming out from Batman to avoid the slow. Zombie with the sleep dart as well. Big time saves here for Fancy Flightless Fowl. Minion Miners are going to have to move back and have their normal defense. Top lane going to be dealt with by the lava wave of Ragnaros. Only 20 more seconds till the second charge is available here. Mid objective is cleared. Bottom wall being pushed onto. Going to be taken out here quickly, but Ragnaros becoming that building once again is going to force Fancy Flightless Fowl to move back. So despite a heavy push coming in from this objective, only mid fort going to be taken for now. Top is still pushing. The lava waves are down. Molten Core is down. Can Fancy Flightless Fowl make something happen on this top keep? Falstad's still down in the bottom lane, waiting to fly in. Rest of the crew being peppered up there with that dagger damage. Murderin joining the fray. It's Batman just trying to clear away these minions. Objective going to be taken out. Fancy Flightless Fowl forced to move back. So this Ragnaros D pushing power showing its worth here on Alterac Pass. As we see the camp once again taken here. At this point, teams are done, basically done their leveling. Be interested to see what Minion Miners can do here when they're not just keeping track of their lanes. Will Fancy Flightless Fowl catch them on one of these rotations? There's 2 members caught out, or the potential to be caught out right now. Map awareness is going to be very, very key if the minion miners choose to keep up this split. Looks like Falstad did come down and join the pack for now. ETC just waiting for a stage dive opportunity. Bottom lane going to be cleaned up here by the Fowl. A little bit of a stalemate. We're going to be waiting for our next objective from the looks of things. We're past level 20, which means vision is now the most important resource that these teams can have. Leoric going to try to catch up with that lava wave clear coming in from Ragnaros, and here come our prison camps.
You know what to do.
Who is going to be able to set up first? Who is going to find the advantage? We've seen the global engage from minion miners not work out as well so far. But with the right timing, the right focus fire, they can make this work. Blood Ravens, Batmang moving across the map. Wesker will be tapped, but it looks like Fancy Flightless Fowl are on this objective first. Gingy Boy having to scoot away here. Here comes Wesker. Gingy Boy going to catch Sir Mac and Cheese. This could be trouble here for May, as Sylvan is starting to pour on the damage. Has to pop the trait to get back to full health. Stage dive from Himibo. Gets hit with the sleep dart, but Marshall's going right into the back line. Zombie having a tough time. That's going to be May going down here. Blood Ravens could be next. Leoric is down. Batman gets the counter kill onto Marshall, but Wesker's on the chase. Purification Salvo coming out. Himibo got to be careful here. Batman gets the teleport away. Himibo wants a slide, not going to get it. Murderin actually going right over. Look at the plays. Unconquered Spirit. Is that going to be enough for a counter kill for Batman? Oh, not quite. But Phoenix will survive. And Minion Miners going to start up their objective. All of a sudden, Fancy Flightless Fowl, they find the counter kill, just a 2 for 1. The last remaining fort going to be down, both teams down to just their keeps. Blood Ravens looking to spawn right back in, but it's still 15 seconds till May is here. Can Fancy Flightless Fowl push the Minion Miners off this point? Oh, the mind control. Very low cooldown here. Himibo in some trouble. Look at all the damage from Gingimex and Batmang. The slows as well. All sorts of trouble for ETC. Objective going to be reset, and May trying to clear this bottom lane. We've got a pretty massive wave down in the bottom lane. May just trying to make sure that doesn't snowball up and take the keep. Team's going to jump onto their camps once again here as they try to reset for the next team fight. As I try to scratch my back to no avail. My back is so far away. We'll get it during the break. Blood Ravens warding away. There's the slow. Wraithwalk will be up and available. Ragnaros just resetting those lanes on cooldown. Gingy Boy actually taking some big damage from Murder, and there's the icing. Oh, look at the avalanche underneath the slow zone. Entomb coming out as well, but there's Lucio with the big save. Isn't going to be enough. No, ETC, Sylvanas are down. The counter kill onto Chromie is good. Marshall popping off in the back line, but now needing to retreat. That's going to be it for Ragnaros. Good slow onto Falstad. Oh, Murderin trying to trade out with Batmang here. Will not be able to do it. Falstad is down. Gingy Boy trying to slow down Weskra. Lucio going to get away here. Looks like Fancy Flightless Fowl going to try to get some lane pressure with this objective. But look at these lanes. Top pushed in, bottom pushed in here. They're going to go for a boss play on top of this. Blood Raven's going to sit here, clear these minions. They've got all the time in the world to take this top boss and try to take as many keeps as possible. This is a big feature here of Alterac Pass. It's unlike other maps, like, you know, it's a post 20-minute team fight. You basically got a team wipe. But all 3 keeps are up. Taking the core with anything more than 1 keep remaining is just so difficult, even with those long timers. But here we go, the major push in the top lane. The boss will be lumbering across. Top objective Be wailing away on this lane, you know. We'll have to see what the race is like. Team gonna be split here. Here comes Boss. The rider is on the chase. Interested to see whether it catches up. I don't think it'll quite catch up to this Boss, but it is gonna make up some ground here. Ragnaros becoming a building. Gingy Boy looking to find Hemibo. A nice slide on through for ETC. Marshall about to not become a building anymore. There's the stage dive. Oh, Batman could be in some trouble. Just being slept dart at every single turn, though. May is going to push 3 away. Sir Mac of Cheese taking some big damage, but no deaths on the side of Minion Miners for now. Here comes the boss, and here comes the objective. Top keep has been shredded. This core still has 2 keeps worth of armor. This is going to be a tough push here for Fancy Flightless Fowl, as Minion Miners are coming in with the defense. Core is down to nearly 50%. Batman manages to get away from Marshall. Core is going to start to leash here in a moment. There goes the boss, there goes the objective, and the core is going to start to reset, but look at the bottom lane. Bottom lane is starting to catch up. Leoric is down. The members of Minion Miners are starting to chase, but the objective is on the core. Look at all these minions. That is going to be it here. Fancy Flightless Fowl delay for just long enough for the Winions to take the victory. GG. Fancy Flightless Fowl putting together an almost undefendable push. Minion Miners looking fantastic. They did exactly what they needed to do. They let the boss, or they let their core reset. But unfortunately, the extra push from the objective in the bottom lane, just too much to handle, gets that wave right on top of the core and finishes things off. Great, great game overall. Gingy Mex on the Chromie. 67,500 hero damage there for Fancy Flightless Fowl. It was Marshall on the Ragnaros just sweeping the board there with that lava wave siege damage, the hero damage up at 67k. Even got the most self-healing over ETC. Look at that. Great, great job from Marshall. Take a quick look here at the talent screen, and then we're going to go ahead and get set up for game number 2. All right, Fancy Flightless Fowl go up 1-0 in this series. Can they close this out and move forward in the playoffs? Or will Minion Miners come on back? We're going to go to a quick break, but don't go far. We'll be back soon. Alrighty, welcome back here. Getting set up for game number 2. Fancy Flightless Fowl going up 1-0 here over Minion Miners. The teams know that I'm ready, so there's no extra delay here. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're going to go to the map screen, remind you of the state of this series. Cursed Hollow, Volskaya Foundry, Braxis Holdout, and Battlefield of Eternity are banned out for this series. Fancy Flightless Fowl bringing the first victory there on Alterac Pass, and now Minion Miners are going to be taking us to Dragonshire for game number 2. Let's jump into the draft. Let's see if there's anything tricky up the sleeves of these players. Have to see what the draft holds for us. We saw the solo lane choke coming out from Fancy Flightless Fowl last time, Dragonshire. An important solo lane map. Not expecting really different bans here. Minion Miner's going to take away the Chromie this time, though. That was a definite pain last game. There's the Rexar ban once again. Fancy Flightless Fowl just keeping that solo lane locked down. I'm sure there's no funny business. Minion Miners did ban away Gaul last time, and they will continue the trend. Don't want to face the big two-headed machine. With no Chromie first pick available, we'll have to see what Fancy Flightless Fowl wants to put on the board here. Cassia was neglected last game, so I'm not expecting that as a snap first pick. It's actually going to be Raynor here from Batman. Interesting choice. I was thinking maybe the Ana was going to come out again for Zombie, but instead they're going to go with the Raynor, possibly looking for a different strategy now that they don't have the Chromie on their side. Raynor, obviously just very consistent damage, can help out with the camp clear, can help out with the objective clear. Lunara and Uther actually coming on through here for Minion Miners. Interesting to see those two paired together. Usually we see Lunara as a counter to Uther, but instead going with the pairing of the Uther. We do see it's Weskra on the Uther right now, so that could be a healing Uther, that could still be a tanking Uther if they switch things around. Looking at an Orphea coming in for Gingimex, and Stukov will be the choice of Zombie. Interesting. Okay, so we've got the Orphea. Orphea can dance around. Raynor can stay away from Uther. I like those picks for sure. And Stukov getting that silence underneath Uther is also a big problem, because then Uther's not able to grant armor. That makes Uther a lot squishier. Leoric going to be banned away here by Minion Miners. Strong choice there. With the Stukov Orphea, Leoric could absolutely enable a gigantic combo with the Entomb, the Eternal Feast, and the Silence. May going to be taken off the board here by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Now that tells me that they've got a very specific engage plan. They're looking to fight fast, because May is one that can just snap disengage. You throw out the Avalanche, you throw out the Ice Wall, and your timing is just ruined. Oh, Deathwing Li Ming here for Murderin and Marshhole. Okay. Murderin on the Deathwing. Now I'm expecting this to be a Deathwing with the main group, not a solo lane Deathwing, though it is... It's tough. You could do it. We'll have to see what the last pick is going to be. I'm expecting Deathwing to be with the group, but they could definitely also put Deathwing at the top. Gingy Boy and Blood Raven's going to round things out here with Diablo Sonya. I really like Sonya into a Deathwing, especially with Leoric unavailable. Just able to move forward, get consistent damage, move around Deathwing, and avoid all that damage. Ooh, a Thrall coming out here for Hemibo. Looks like there is going to be some switching around here. Murderin going to move on to the Thrall. Marshhole is still Ming. Hemibo is on the Deathwing, so that would imply to me it is a Deathwing tank. Okay. Fancy Flightless Fowl looking to close this out on Dragonshire. Minion Miners looking to keep their playoff hopes alive. Game number 2. Here we go. Alrighty, here we go. Game number 2 on the left in the blue. Once again, Fancy Flightless Fowl with Gingy Boy on the Diablo. Zombie is playing Stukov. Batmang on the Raynor. Blood Ravens is playing the Sonya. Gingimex on the Orphea. On the right in the red, Minion Miners. Marshhole is playing the Li Ming. Sir Mac of Cheese on the Lunara. Wesgra is playing Uther. Himibo on the Deathwing. And Murderin on the Thrall. Here we go. Game number 2 is underway. Thrall going to be looking for that Echo of the Elements quest on 1. Uther actually going with the Hammer of the Lightbringer, so looking to auto-attack into this enemy team. So going to be right up there alongside Deathwing, just whacking away with that hammer. Getting a couple hits on these lane minions to start off with. Looks like the wave clear, very impressive over on the side of Minion Miners once again. As they're getting a jump on both mid lane and bot lane. Meanwhile, Thrall versus Sonya, a classic matchup in the top lane there. Gingy Boy in some trouble here. Trying to get away from the Lunara damage, but that's going to be Diablo going down as first blood of the game. Diablo very squishy in the early going here on any map as those souls start to build up. Himibo moving on in, getting some extra damage onto Batman. As we now see Minion Miners working on that right side siege. Checking our top lane matchup. This will, over time, favor Sonya, just because of mana concerns. But Thrall can definitely hold their own here. I think that was perfectly simultaneous siege camp capping. Nice stuff. Gingy-Max trying to get away here, but there's the point-and-click stun. Gingy-Max nowhere to go, and Orphea is down. A second kill here for Minion Miners as the altars are up and available. Nice stun there onto Diablo once again. Himibo just saying, if you're going to go back, you're going to have to go through this fire. So right now, Minion Miners with a very strong opening here. This Deathwing main tank doing all sorts of work versus this Stukov Diablo engage. Meanwhile, Murderin starting to finally get low on mana here. Gonna have to tap and re-enter. Oh, look at Batman has to pop the armor to try to stay alive here. Moving on up, getting some damage onto Himibo. So far, it's been very difficult for Fancy Flightless Fowl to get anything done versus this Deathwing. Gingy Boy having to avoid the Molten Flame, but one more auto, and that's going to be it. Diablo down once again. As the siege will continue here. A possible quick Dragon Knight, but there is Blood Ravens ready to interrupt Marshall here. Nice teleport coming on out from Li Ming. That means that Sonya's going to have to both watch mid, watch top, try to get double soak. There's just too much to do here. So Fancy Flightless Fowl are going to hope to get onto this point. Gingy-Max could be in some trouble here. Nice silence coming out from Stukov. Orphea continuing to work the edges. I was sure Gingy-Max was in a world of trouble there. Managing to wiggle away. Diablo just trying to find level 7 here in the mid lane. Fancy Flightless Fowl and, you know, having a tough go of it here in the early goings on Dragonshire. Diablo just having to maintain here versus Li Ming. Looks like Blood Ravens did manage to push Thrall off here. Murderin could be in some trouble if the spear lands. Blood Ravens moving on in. Oh, didn't have the spear quite available there. The slow siege of the Minion Miners in the bottom lane will continue. As level 7 is achieved by Fancy Flightless Fowl. It's going to allow Diablo to come back down to the bottom lane. Try to move on to this point, but here comes Marshall putting out the big combo, and Gingy Boy just has nowhere to go here. Gingy-Max may have nowhere to go here. Needs another Q. Gets stunned out there. Not going to have that movement. And Orphea taken out as well. Death takes flight. Himibo. I think that was the first time in this game the Deathwings had to go up into the air here. Trying to help clear that mid lane. Looks like Murderin will take the top shrine. That's going to force Blood Ravens to stay here in the mid lane as the slow siege of this bottom fort continues. Wesgra stays away from the wall, but the flip comes over all the same. Removes the slow with that medallion. And it looks like we've got a dragon here. It's going to be a raise. Marshall manages to get it. Barely eking out the stop attempt from Diablo. We're going to see the Dragon Knight throw down the fire and rotate down. We're looking at almost a 2-level lead here. It's going to be 10 to 8, possibly in a moment here for Minion Miners. There's the level 10s. This fort is in all sorts of trouble. The Dragon Knight is moving in, puts out the breath. Wezgra gets flipped over and stunned by Gingy Boy. But look at the Cataclysm from Himibo, using the Bellowing Roar to push back the members of Fancy Flightless Fowl. The Dragon Knight's still pressuring in here. That's a ton of team damage, or team fight damage, locked away. And Li Ming driving that dragon. The siege is strong. Dragon Knight going to move out through the mid lane, get this last tower here, not push their luck. There's only 8 seconds left on the Dragon Knight. Gonna move back here. Gingy Boy, oh, actually getting rooted there. Nice Feral Spirit from Murderin. Denies the engage. Deathwing dropping out of the sky here. Himibo coming back early to try to find this fight. But a nice Silence Zone from Stukov will deny any further engage. Uh-oh, Gingy Boy in trouble here. Double stun coming on out. Repositions with that Shadow Charge. Himibo not guessing wrong on the Molten Flame as Marshall just putting... Look at all that Seeker damage onto Gingy Boy. Nice stun lines. Oh no, Gingy Boy's not done. The Molten Flame coming from the outside. Li Ming gets the reset. Blood Ravens is trying to get away here as well. There's the Feral Spirit, the Leaping Strike, and that's going to be it for Sonya. Double kill here for the Miners. Great scouting job there by Himibo. There's nothing unexpected coming out from Fancy Flightless Fowl. Taking a look at the heroics for both of our teams. Minion Miners have the Disintegration Beam, Bellowing Roar, Earthquake, Divine Hurricane, or Divine Storm, I should say, and Leaping Strike. Fancy Flightless Fowl looking at Hyperion, Lightning Breath, Flailing Swipe, Leap, and Orpheus still thinking about the option here. Whether to go for the Crushing Jaws or the Eternal Feast. Murderin pushing into Blood Ravens in the top lane. Bottom Bruiser Camp going to be picked up. Orpheus still sitting on that ult. Interested to see what it's going to be. I feel like... I mean, you think Crushing Jaws for the kill potential, right? But it's a main tank Deathwing. They're just going to walk right through your stun like it's nothing. So do you just go for the Eternal Feast to try to hopefully get some sort of big play out? Maybe try to pair it with Virulent Reaction. Uh-oh, Murderin has to get cleansed out. This Blood Raven's getting counter-stunned. Himibo going right in. The Divine Storm is popped, and that's going to be it for Sonya. Batman trying to get away from Marshall here. Only the 1 kill going over to the side of Minion Miners, but they're now a solid 2 levels ahead. This is looking like trouble for Fancy Flightless Fowl. Murderin just trying to clear that top lane. Bruiser Camp has been picked up. It's going to be another quick dragon over for Minion Miners. Gingy Boy not able to get there in time, and we're going to see Fancy Flightless Fowl. Can they put up the defense here? Blood Ravens moving up to the top lane to try to stop the free push of Thrall. This mid fort going to be in all sorts of trouble. Wezgra and Sir Mac of Cheese having to back off here as Deathwing is still pushing down in the bottom lane. Dragon Knight taken down to half health. Blood Raven going right in there. Gets the leap onto Sir Mac of Cheese. Blood Raven's almost had the re-engage there onto Lunara. This Dragon Knight is going to be pushed back. With Deathwing down in the bottom lane, there's just no presence. Oh, look at that. Sonya actually going down to the chase of Thrall and Lunara in the top lane. Wasn't expecting that one. Looks like it was the Crushing Jaws ultimately chosen by Orphea to try to work those flanks, try to get around this Deathwing to find something onto Lunara, Li Ming, really anybody. Besides, getting it onto Uther would be tough. And of course, Deathwing. But Thrall, Li Ming, Lunara, fine targets for that. Divine Storm coming on out. Look at the stack. And that's going to be it for your Diablo. That's going to be a soul reset. Oh, Gingy Mex! The Disintegration Beam enough for the kill. Li Ming cannot be stopped as the mid-fort push. And nearly 3-level lead here. 16 about to be acquired by Minion Miners. Looking unstoppable so far here on Dragonshire. Thrall just wants to sneeze on this top fort. Just one more to go. Doesn't have a minion wave. Gonna head on back and get that started. Gingy Boy only on 14 souls right now. I have to just rotate around trying to get as many of these minion souls as possible. Thrall trying to catch up this minion wave, but here's Blood Ravens for the defense. Looking at like an engage down in the bottom lane, actually. Orphea getting caught out here. Gingy Boy stuck in the back as well, trying to reposition. There's the Lightning Breath, but that just means Diablo going down again. A double kill for Minion Miners. Thrall gonna grab the top fort versus this Sonya, and the push will continue onto the bottom keep wall. 13 kills to 0 here for the Miners. Batmang, oh, look at the disintegration beam. Zombie has the healing pathogen just in time. Somehow I think that arcane orb turned the corner. Oh my goodness, Raynor, where'd you go, buddy? Raynor taken out by the Seeker build of Li Ming. And this bottom keep is gonna go down. Is that Fireflies on 16? Yeah, just the extremely quick magic missiles coming on out from Li Ming, catching Raynor off guard. Looks like it's gonna be another dragon going over to murder in here.
The fire comes for you.
Pushing down the bottom lane here. Keep is already down. Dragon Knight coming around here. It's a 4-level lead, and it looks like Minion Miners are looking to close this out. Hemibo pushing across. Dragon Knight coming down the bottom lane. They are going to look at the core. Cataclysm is out. Trying to put the damage onto the core. Gingy Boy just working the flanks. The Dragon Knight is wailing away. Gingy Boy trying to get on Marshall here. That's a lot of the siege damage. Silence comes on out. Marshall just trying to get as much damage in as possible. That's going to be it. The breaths are flying. Sir Mac of Cheese actually taken out at the core. We're down to 30%. But this Dragon Knight looks like it's going to be too healthy. And Minion Miners even up this series. GG. Minion Miners looking absolutely dominant there. A great comp, a great execution, and a great victory there on to Dragonshire. 15 kills to 1. We saw Marshall on that Li Ming Seeker build. 54,500 hero damage. Top hero damage over on the side of Fancy Flightless Fowl was 19,000 for Gingy Mechs. They just couldn't, they had no opportunities to step up past that Deathwing, past that Uther. And Minion Miners, looking fantastic, are going to force a game number 3. Take a quick look here at the talent screen, and then we'll get ready for the break. All right, evening things up. Minion Miners coming back strong on Dragonshire and force the rubber match, the ultimate showdown to see who will advance in the playoffs. We're going to go to a quick break, but when we come back, it's going to be more Fancy Flightless Fowl versus Minion Miners. Don't go far. Alrighty, welcome back. Game number 3 about to be underway here. Winner of this match will advance in Division A West. Will come out ahead. Looks like our lobby is about ready to go. It looks like chat has been having a very productive discussion on banned mounts and skins. Everything I've been seeing, everyone's right on the ball. You know the rules out there. Good job. Good on ya. Let's jump over to the map screen. Remind you one last time of the state of this series. Cursed Hollow, Volskaya Foundry, Braxis Holdout, and Battlefield of Eternity are banned away for this series. Fancy Flightless Fowl picking up the first win on Alterac Pass. Dragonshire, we saw Minion Miners come storming back to even up this series 1-1, and now it will be Fancy Flightless Fowl that are taking us to Tomb of the Spider Queen for game number 3. Interesting map here, Tomb of the Spider Queen. Very, very small map. Not a lot of room for fights. A lot of opportunities to play around vision. So I'm excited to see if the comps change, if the plan changes. We saw a great... I'm just going to call it. It was a great outdraft there from Minion Miners. Bringing in that Deathwing main, just throwing a huge wrench into the plans of Fancy Flightless Fowl. Can they outdraft them again? Is the question. Tomb of the Spider Queen is a little bit harder to run the cheese on, but it is still possible. We'll have to see what our teams can cook up here. Looks like we've got a little bit of a delay in the lobby. Should be getting going here in just a moment. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day out there. Valcomer, Wono, Josh Sill, hanging out. My subscribers in the chat. Hope you've been enjoying those emotes. Everyone else, Cookie Monster, Nara, Ulysses. Who else is in here today? Icex, I saw earlier. Hope you're all enjoying the show. Excited to see the conclusion here. The draft is about to start. Tomb of the Spider Queen about to be underway. What is the spice going to be? Like, I'm looking at 2. I'm looking at Tomb. How can you spice up Tomb of the Spider Queen? The map of Wave Clear, the map of Stick with the Tank, the smallest map in the map pool. You can't really skulk around the map all that much. You know what I would love to see? Something that we've been seeing in the CCL. Something that we've been seeing at the highest levels of play to counteract this medallion meta. You know what I want to see? I want to see Nazebo. I want to see Nazebo come on out here. I think Minion Miners are going to be the one to pick him if they do find that chance. As we see Leoric down, Gaul down, Gazlo and Ragnaros banned away by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Show me a Nazebo. Don't do it first. Don't do it first. It's okay. You can take the Chromie. Take the OP hero. Chromie going over to Marsh Hole. Gingy Boy going to snap up the Garrosh and Zombie on the Anduin. So a definite change in strategy. Come Fancy Flightless Fowl, but not so much on the side of Minion Miners. They're just going, okay, if you want to do Garrosh, it's going to be Deathwing Uther again. Find an answer. We'll have to see what that answer is going to be. It's not going to be Leoric, because it's already banned away. Lunara taken off the board here by Fancy Flightless Fowl. Minion Miners thinking about their next ban. What are they worried about here? Someone who can get back to Chromie. Someone who can deal damage to that Deathwing. Hanzo could be rough. Hanzo could be rough. I mean, you don't get the Dragon Arrow into Deathwing, but you do get the Dragon Strike, you get the long-range damage. We're going to take the Tychus off the board. A more standard Deathwing ban for sure. I think it would be really cool to have a Hanzo here on Game 3, Tomb of the Spider Queen. I got it right! Yes! Yes! Batman gonna lock in the Hanzo. Blood Raven's gonna be playing an Imperious here. Mark it down. On this day, Crush Theory crafted a pick. Yes! Rounding out the draft here, Sylvanas for Sir Mac and Cheese, murdering right back on the Thrall. Just tried, tested, and true here. They're running essentially the exact same comp. Trade out a Liming for a Chromie, trade out a Lunara for a Sylvanas. They're saying, you didn't find the answer last time. But we've got a different plan. We've got the Garrosh Imperious at the front. We've got the Hanzo in the back. Gingy Mech's going to lock in the Tassadar here. They're trying to throw as much damage right past that Deathwing as they possibly can. Can they do it? Can they get around this unstoppable front line to find their engages? There's a lot of places to sneak around in Tomb. This is going to be a close one. Fancy Flightless Fowl versus Minion Miners. Game number 3. Here we go. Alrighty. Loading on in. The Ultimate Showdown, game number 3. On the left, once again, is Fancy Flightless Fowl with Gingy Boy on the Garrosh, Batman on the Hanzo, Zombie playing the Anduin, Gingy Mex on the Tassadar. I believe Gingy Boy on the Garrosh, Blood Ravens on the Imperious. I can't remember what I said. Blood Ravens on the Imperious. On the right and the red, it is the Minion Miners, Himibo on the Deathwing, Marshhole playing somebody. Chromie, stop stacking up so close together. Sir Mac of Cheese on the Sylvanas. We see Weskra on the Uther, and down in the bottom lane, Murderin on the Thrall. Game number 3 is underway. Very similar builds. We got the Scatter Arrow build for Hanzo to start things off. It is the Static Charge for Tassadar. Gonna be stacking up that Shock Ray. Uther going for those autos once again. Wesker on the outside finds Gingy Mex. Hemibo just trying to create some space here with that stun line. Gingy Boy eating some damage there from the Chromie, who did take that Vision Talent on one. Oh, Wesker thrown right underneath, taking tons of tower shots. That's going to be it for Uther. Great throw there from Gingy Boy to start things off with a kill here for Fancy Flightless Fowl. This Batman going to be forced back a little bit. The wave clear coming on out from Chromie and Deathwing are going to be difficult to deal with. Gingy Mex and Hanzo do bring some wave clear, though it's a little bit conditional on the positioning and getting in range in time here. So going to have to be very on top of the macro here, our Fancy Flightless Fowl. Checking in on the bottom lane, Imperious working against Thrall here. Murderin just moving around trying to avoid those impales. Point blank impales for Imperious are very, very difficult. I like seeing Thrall just stick right up there and make sure that Imperious can't find the fadeaway. Thrall having to tap, though. Gonna be forced back here. Imperious can do so much damage on one with that Burn the Impure. So Thrall definitely has to be careful. 10 squats has been called by Kelador, and we'll have to remember to do that after this game number 3. As the team is just once again trying to get as many of the spider butts as they can. Batman taking some big damage. When did we get torso twists added? 50 subs. Amiibo dropping on down here right into the front line, but there's the force wall. And that's a big, big change there from game number 2, as they've got some actual CC for Hemibo, and that's going to put Deathwing back into the well, possibly back into the air here for Minion Miners. Thrall continuing to work down here, does not have the tap available, going to need to head on back for mana soon. This team's working on getting towards that 50 gem mark. Right now, Minion Miners looking a little bit more on the back foot than they did in game number 1. The Tassadar Hanzo are definitely strong picks here for Fancy Flightless Fowl. Doing a lot of extra work into this Deathwing. To keep checking down here, just to make sure. These have been some very aggressive solo laners so far, as Gingy Boy looking for a throw, but getting stopped by that big dragon body. Sir Mac of Cheese going in here, but thinking better of it. Pops the medallion just in case. Marshall can't quite get the Sandblast down. As the team's reset once again. Oh, Sir Mac of Cheese actually being moved onto. Wesker trying to get the stun to move away. Wilt managed to move away. Fancy Flightless Fowl trying to turn in. They need basically every gem that they have in order to get the next turn in. How many subs right now? We're at 38 out of 50. 38 out of 50 right now. And like 95% of those are gift subs. So running out of time there if you want to hit that last emote slot. Nice throw and stun there onto Wesker, but now Uther in the backline going to be causing all sorts of problems. Gingy Boy, oh! Look at the heal from Zombie. Hemibo caught on the terrain there, trying to go over the top. And there, I missed the solo lane kill. Blood Ravens wrapping up Thrall. Very nice job. Ulysses dropping the Prime sub. Wants those torso twists, wants that last emote. I haven't drawn it yet, but it's going to be Crush hype. It's going to be Vec Crew hype. First blue web weavers of the game are going over here to fancy Flightless Fowl as they find themselves at an XP advantage here. Nice unstoppable, but not going to be enough. Oh, good peel from Uther is going to prevent the second stun. Marshall working on the edges, but it's going to be Tassadar taken down here by Murderin. Minion Miners finding a timely pick here as they set up for the defense. Clearing away this top lane first, wanting to make sure that the boss lane is as intact as possible. Gingy Boy looking for any kind of throw there, but Hemibo staying close. Overall, looks like this first Web Weaver wave is going to be cleaned up without much incident. This Blood Raven, is caught there in the slow. Oh, a big save, but not going to be quite enough here. The final damage from Chromie is just enough to take out Imperius. Wezgra could be in trouble here, thrown back by Gingy Boy, and all of a sudden, what was looking bad for fancy Flightless Fowl in the early going could be turning around here. Imperius about to come back onto the battlefield. Batman already stacked up on that level 1. It's both teams looking to find their level 10. Can fancy Flightless Fowl delay this next turn-in? It's going to be difficult because they're still a ways off from a double turn-in off the... Excuse me, I got a little rumble there I had to deal with. They're still a good 30 gems away from their own second turn-in here. Uh-oh, level 10s have arrived on the side of Minion Miners. Gingy Boy trying to walk away there, managing to avoid all the damage, all the mind controls. Just going right up into the corner, knowing there's no escape. Garrosh going to go down here. Boss going to be triggered, but not pursued there by Minion Miners. Murderin trying to drop those 10. Looks like Sir Mac of Cheese will have the final turn-in. And Minion Miners securing their first objective of the game. Level 10s have arrived for both squads. Minion Miners looking at the Slowing Sands, Bellowing Roar, Earthquake, Divine Storm, and Mind Control, the exact same heroics they've been using so far this series. Over on the side of fancy Flightless Fowl, it is the Dragon Arrow for Hanzo, so not opting for the Dragon Strike into this Deathwing. Instead, looking for the flanking stuns. Light Bomb, Warlord's Challenge, Archon, and Angelic Armaments. So nothing too out of the ordinary here. Mind Control is good onto Garrosh, going to push into the backline. Hemibo getting huge damage onto Batman and Zombie. Gingy Boy in all sorts of trouble there, trying to peel for their team. That's going to be it for Garrosh, as this push from Minion Miners is looking like it's about to get a lot done here. Gingy Max throwing some damage onto Sylvanas. Nice wall there, going to trap Hemibo for the meantime, taking some of those fort shots, going down to a quarter health. I don't think the fort gets saved. Just barely taken out here by the wave. Minion Miners, they want a double fort play. They're moving on down to the bottom lane. The Black Arrows are committed. Blood Raven's getting stunned there. Look at the double pull. Leap of Faith going to deny the mind control. And now we have a double turn-in possibly available here for Minion Miners. This is the advantage you get when you don't get the first turn-in of the game. You get to just keep moving up the gem count, possibly get a double turn-in. Hemibo dropping off 23 here. We see the rest of the team taking this bruiser. Dragon Arrow going to come on out here. Can Gingy Boy get on the point? Oh no, doesn't get on the point. There's the light bomb. This bruiser camp is going to cause all sorts of problems here for fancy Flightless Fowl. Imperius is actually counter-killed as the Slowing Sands keeping everyone there. Mind Control comes on out. Garrosh surviving for a bit, but that is going to be it for Gingy Boy. 2 kills here for the Miners as they look for their second turn-in in a row. Marshall trying to drop off here with Murderin. Wezgra dropping 20. That is going to be enough here. Hemibo pushing down the bottom lane. Falcomer, wanting those extra exercises, begging and pleading. I should add some more. I'm still reticent about adding ab exercises to the stream. I've got to crank the camera down. I'll just be sitting here in pain, unable to stretch out my abdomen. Well, you know what? For 50 subs, I'll do it for you guys. For 50 subs, I'll add the ab exercises. Oh, Tassadar actually getting pulled by the mind control. Has to use the Into the Fray. Gingy Mech's taking so much damage from those Dragon's Breaths. Top fort is going to go down. Looks like the mid keep going to be saved for now. This Gingy boy just taking so much damage here. Garrosh has found some good opportunities so far, but a lot of missed engages, a lot of denied engages from this extremely heavy front line of Minion Miners. Gingy boy looking for a throw, gonna get rooted, stunned, slowed. There's the mind control. It's not often you see Garrosh being the kill target, but Minion Miners are saying, you know, we got enough. We got enough to kill off a Garrosh. Stealing the Bruiser camp here are the Minion Miners, looking for a possible triple turn-in. They're only 13 gems away from their third turn-in of the game. Lanes are pretty pushed out here, so they may not be able to access those 13 gems quickly. As we see Marshall and Sir Mac of Cheese just working on this siege camp, just doing something, anything, as these lanes are all the way pushed in. Aside from the top that Murderin is working on here. Deathwing popping a squat there on that wave, trying to get the last few gems. Himibo and Murderin turning in here. They don't have quite enough. They need 7 more, just a couple more waves. Himibo moving on in, actually getting a double stun onto Blood Ravens and Gingy Boy. Great Indomitable there is going to deny the engage. That's a lot of ults committed. Zombie getting thrown on back. Nice chastise. Counter engage with the Dragon Arrow. Badmang not done here. But just a little bit too late. There's a lot of ults down. For a couple more seconds on the side of Minion Miners, just keeping members of Fancy Flightless Fowl trapped in their base. Unable to do anything about the next turn-in. Sir Mac of Cheese, Marshhole, and Hemibo are going to be enough. Yeah, Marshhole, you too. Oh, Murderin can do it as well. Looks like they're not going to try to get the boss along with it, though they are up 3 levels here. Instead, opting for the rotation. Blood Raven's going to have to try to get away here. The slowing stance is out. Oh, the mind control doesn't land, but there's the stun chain. Even the Leap of Faith not able to save Imperius, and Minion Miners cruising through this top lane before the Web Weavers even arrive. Torso Twist is a standing exercise. Alright, you're going to have to give me a video on that one. I was assuming you meant like V-sits on the ground where I'm twisting back and forth. Gingy Boy having to move away here. Gingy Mechs popping the Archon, trying to get this defense, but there's the Black Arrows on the keep. Himibo moving on up here. Nice wall. Gonna force back members of Minion Miners for now, but this defense is going to be so difficult. Mind control pushing. Oh, Gingy Boy just on the edge of that slow. That's going to be it for Garrosh. Gingy Mech's taking a ton of damage as well. Tassadar's down. Blood Ravens trying to get an Impale follow-up. Oh, nice Dragon Arrow there from Batman, getting the peel for Imperius, but this is top keep. Are we looking at a double keep play or possibly more? Mid keep is going to go down. Bottom keep is down. And with 2 members down, Minion Miners, they're going to commit to the core, and they're going to try to close out this series. 80%, look at it melt. Oh my goodness. Minion Miners pick up the win, pick up the reverse sweep, and they're going to advance in the playoffs. GG. What a game there, bringing out that Uther Deathwing for a second game in a row. Things were looking pretty good there for Fancy Flightless Fowl. The Tassadar Hanzo looked like, well, first of all, it looked a lot better than in game number 2. Getting that damage, making sure Deathwing had to back occasionally as opposed to never. But ultimately, just a little bit too much to handle. And Minion Miners pick up the victory. Very nicely done. Batmang on the Hanzo. 43.7k hero damage for Fancy Flightless Fowl. It was Marshhole on the Chromie. 42.6 there for Minion Miners. Great series there, Minion Miners. Going to move on to the next round. We'll do a quick check-in on the talent screen. And then I'll see if I can get us, see if anyone's available for an interview here from Minion Miners. Let's see here. Say lobby 5. All right, we'll see if we can get a member from Minion Miners in here. Looks like I'll be joined by Marshhole. Congratulations on the 2-1.
Thank you.
Looking pretty strong out there. I think the story of the series, Deathwing Uther in that front line. Looking pretty unstoppable there. Did you feel a little bit more pressure there in game number 3 with that Hanzo Tassadar, or did it feel like just another cruise to another victory?
I mean, game 3, I don't want to give away too much, but we don't often play on Tomb, not even in NGS. So I think we're probably a little less comfortable on the map, but I think that the comp that we had in mind going into the game was probably what won us that game, and probably in game 2 as well. The as you said, the Uther Deathwing front line. So
absolutely looking very, very strong there. Looking at that game number 3, things were a little bit less standard in the early going. Some signs of life coming out there from Fancy Flightless Fowl. What was sort of the game plan going through the mid game? Once you fended off that first Webweaver wave, what was the plan to get ahead and stay ahead there?
Well, I think on Tomb, and this is one of the reasons maybe why we aren't as comfortable with it, is the whole concept of it is pretty straightforward. I mean, you just want to get control of the lanes and get your turns, right? So, I mean, that was basically just our focus, was control the lanes as best as possible and just keep turning and turning and turning. And if you lose the first turn, as you can see, it's not that big of a deal usually on the map. I mean, it's almost better to lose it earlier in some way. So after the first turn, it was the same game plan the whole time. It was just try to control lanes and get the turns. So
looking very good out there. Absolutely, getting that first turn in can be sometimes a little bit more of a curse than it is an advantage. We saw it
Minion
there.
Miners always lose first objective. It's just it's a rule.
Well, if you're going to lose the first objective, that's definitely the map to do it. So, 2-1 victory there. You're moving on to face, let me bring up the website here. The winner of Baby Makers and Forge the Winning Condition, which I believe are playing tomorrow evening. Is there an opponent you're looking to get some revenge on, one that you're more willing or more looking forward to facing in the next round?
I mean, both teams are solid. We just played Forge, and they kicked our butts pretty hard. And the last time we played Baby Makers, we put up a better fight against Baby Makers than last time, but I think they also beat us 2-0. I could be wrong about that. So they're both good. They're both solid teams. I'm actually really looking forward to the game tomorrow. I think it'll be a good one to watch. So anyone in stream, I highly suggest watching game tomorrow as well.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing that one. I might pick it up myself if no one else does, because I don't think anyone's on the cast just yet. Definitely, yeah. Excited to see how A West shakes out here. All right, well, Marshall, thank you very much for coming on by. Any shout-outs you'd like to make before we close things down here?
So before I go, I will say I want to say sorry to FFF for their internet issues. Alfie had internet issues just before the series, and that really sucks. That you want to play your main roster and everything. So I apologize that we were unable to reschedule, but I just want to say, you know, you guys, your team has been really, really cool this season, and we've really enjoyed playing against you. So shout out to FFF for sure, and shout out to well, anyone supporting the Minion Miners at home, all you Minion Miners fans, and that's it. Yeah, there you go.
Quite the number of fans in chat for sure, cheering on their teams, cheering on the Miners. We'll be moving on to the next round. Marshall, thank you very much for coming by, and good luck in the next round.
Thank you.